No, the fatal accidents are taking place inherently because there is, it all depends on what sort of flying the pilots are doing. Well, let me tell you one thing. If you're doing fighter flying, you are doing a dangerous job. It is not an airline job, but it is a dangerous job. There are more chances of pilots losing their life. In any profession, this is the most dangerous profession. So if pilot is losing their lives, you have to do inquiry. Pilot will not try to commit suicide. But yes, you are right. It could be a lot of problems, technical problems, like just now the commentator was talking about the control rod. Yes, there could be problem over the quill shaft. All those things could be there. So inquiry has to be done. Let me also tell you, MiG-21 has been the most successful aircraft in the world ever. In Vietnam War, it gave the American a run for the money. Maximum MiG-21 ever produced, and they're still flying. China, Pakistan, Bangladesh have no problem. It is only that in India, that somebody named them as a flying coffin or some stupid word like that. That is because our procedures of maintenance, or probably we are not replacing the spare part. We are cutting short. We may be taking shortcuts. We don't know. That inquiry must find out. So please understand that this aspect is taking place. And now I've been told pilot has ejected safely. Some people are saying pilot is not ejected. We must get the proper news.
Sir, Indian Air Force has released a statement, sir, saying that the pilot has ejected safely. I'm just going to quickly read out that statement, sir, for your benefit as well and for the viewers who are joining in. This is the official statement on part of the Indian Air Force that has just come out, saying that a MiG-21 aircraft of the Indian Air Force crashed near Suratgarh during a routine training sortie today morning. The pilot ejected safely, sustaining minor injuries. An inquiry has constituted to ascertain the cause of the accident. Yes, Bakshi, sir.
Yes, that's right. That is the first initial statement. But the question is, we cannot give any comment on the statement.
Right, sir.
Because we have not come to know what exercise. If it was an armament exercise, I would tell you it could be ricochet. Even low-level flying, it could be bird hit. It could be combat flying. The pilots of the aircraft have touched each other like the Mirage in Gwalior had happened. So anything can happen. So there are so many things which can happen, and we must not say MiG-21 have been crashing too much. The pilots have been flying too much.
No, right, Bakshi, sir. It is not about any speculation, sir. It is more of a concern, sir. Because even when it comes to the Air Force with just 4 active squadrons, that has been updated to match the Generation 3 fighter jets. We are looking at more often such kind of crashes being reported involving MiG-21, sir.
Yes, I personally agree, yes. So that requires an inquiry, a thorough inquiry. There could be some part which probably has been given extension, which should not be given extension. There could be so many things. But at the moment, nobody should try to even conjecture. That is the most harmful thing until the inquiry is done. Because nobody will purposely go and commit an accident. Nobody will do it. Nobody will play with his own life. And no airman would like to kill a pilot. Let me tell you one thing. So this aspect is a very serious aspect and should be inquired immediately. Yes, the media is doing a good job by asking this question to public. Okay, by all means. But let the inquiry be complete. Let the Accident Investigation Board complete the inquiry and then follow it up and ask the government what happened to the last accident. That is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right, sir, because even when it comes to inquiry being constituted, sir, because now these MiG-21s infamously are being referred to as flying coffins or widowmakers, sir. That is the concern that is being raised over this. Even after the inquiry, what all precautions are taking so that such kind of fatal incidents are avoided in the near future, sir?
That's a very most silly thing to do, to call them widowmaker. The mothers are sending their little sons, young sons to fly the aircraft. You cannot call it a widowmaker. This is wrong, and I object to it. Anybody can object to this. So please understand that only irresponsible people are making the statements like that. So we have to fight or give a proper inquiry. Yes, ask the government, make the procedures very clear, make it transparent. That is what it should be. So let us wait out and let us find out. We are not even getting what ATC has said, we don't know. What exercise was he doing, we don't know. We have to find that out.
Right, sir. We will be awaiting for an official statement officially coming in from the Indian Air Force. For now, we just have this one-line statement that has been released, sir. Thank you very much, Bakshi, sir, for your insight and perspective. But Srinjoy, the question here also remains, of course, we are waiting exactly that the court of inquiry that has now been constituted to come out with a detailed report of what exactly could have led to that crash.
Yes. undoubtedly, the Court of Inquiry will say so, but there can only be 3 or 4 things. One is a technical failure. Then what kind of technical failure? Is it an engine? Is it something else? Then naturally the precautions have to be taken, things have to be corrected. As I was telling you about the helicopter, the ALH helicopter, after the crash they found out that the problem was with the control rod. So naturally the objective now is to ensure that all those control rods in all the ALH helicopters are in proper shape. So that has to be done. In this case too, they will have to find out what led to the crash. Now, if the crash was, we find that the crash was X, assuming that it's a technical failure, then naturally that area in all those planes will have to be looked at. And if there is a problem, similar problem in the other planes, then they have to be corrected. That is standard procedure. But as I was saying, before every flight, there is a check by the engineers. They check to see if the plane is airworthy or not. This time too, just before the plane took off, the engineers would have looked at the plane and said, yes, this is airworthy, and then let the plane go. So these things will have to be assessed now. Did the engineers check the plane? Did they find it airworthy? It's only because they found it airworthy that the plane flew. Then what happened in the plane? What happened when the plane was flying? All that has to be worked out in the Court of Inquiry. Now let's, for instance, assume that, let's say there was something wrong with the engine. If there is a problem with the engine, then automatically all the other MiG-21 engines will be looked at. And they will try and assess whether the engine or a particular part of the engine is in good shape or not.
Right, but Srinjoy, even when it comes to such basically used for the trainer versions, especially for those pilots to actually come up with their more flying hours?
No, it's not a question of a trainer version. You have, every plane has a trainer, but this one was a single-seater, and the flight was a training flight, because you need to train to be to stay on as a fighter pilot. If you're a fighter pilot, you need to train. You need to do what you have to do. Supposing you have to be ready yourself for operations. So as a result, you have to be in the air, you have to fly. So it's not the trainer aircraft, it's the plane. It's any plane, but the pilot has to train himself. So the pilot has to be trained. To be trained, you have to be in the air. You have to have a number of flying hours. So that's why pilots take off virtually every day, to give them, to train themselves and make sure that they are ready for whatever they have to do. So it's very clearly a training effort. The plane took off as a training exercise in the morning,
right,
and something seriously went wrong, which led to the crash. Now, normally
details
what
are
happens
awaited
is,
if the report inquiry
know.
that has already been constituted by the Indian Air Force. I'm just going to once again quickly read out from the official statement that has been posted on the official Twitter handle of the Indian Air Force. The statement goes on to say, and I quote, that a MiG-21 aircraft of the IAF that crashed near Suratgarh during a routine training sortie today morning, the pilot ejected safely, sustaining minor injuries. An inquiry that has been constituted to ascertain the cause of the accident. That is the official statement coming on part of the Indian Air Force. However, a ground report suggests that there have been 2 civilians, unfortunately, who have lost their life, and 1 civilian said to be grievously injured. We'll keep a look at all the developments that are coming in from Rajasthan over this latest MiG-21 crash. For now, we just have to head into a short break.